Hello guys, today we'll be covering a 2022 mini-series called Off the Hook. Leah is a 30-year-old lady who's hopelessly fascinated by her ex-boyfriend Guillaume. Even though they broke up a year ago, she continues to stalk him online and even hacks into his email and camera. Leah is unable to move on because she dated her ex-boyfriend for an extended 8-year period. Nevertheless, her unusual obsession with social media and her persistent invasion of her boyfriend's online privacy were the causes of their breakup. Manon is Leah's cousin and also her best friend, who aspires to become a singer. She is a manager named Durko, and one day, he arranges a concert for her. But since Manon is having trouble getting her singing career off the ground, Durko forces her to wear a fake bud as an experiment. She's also forced to jump on the audience during the performance. However, when Manon jumps on the audience, she falls face down and her false bud is revealed in front of everyone, as everyone records the scene. And to add to her embarrassment, her video is now viral on the internet. The same day, Leah is distraught after being blocked by Guillaume. Unable to handle this, she barges into his office, and for obvious reasons, she ends up being arrested. As the day ends, the two friends find pleasure in alcohol. They share all their disturbing stories, and as they get a little too drunk, they smash their phones in rage. After the inevitable breakdown, the girls decide to go on a month-long digital detox, and to avoid cheating, they plan to give all of their devices to Leah's good friend Gagun. After abandoning all of their devices, the girls realize how everyone is always stuck staring at their screens of their smartphones and laptops. But immediately, Manon and Leah encounter several challenges at their work because they're not carrying their phones. That evening, they meet at Leah's brother Julian's place, where they meet with his wife Audrey. As they talk, the duo informs her about their digital detox plan. Audrey gives them the contact numbers of all their family members, while she informs the rest of the family about their digital detox plan. However, the whole family is pissed off when they get to know about Manon and Leah's decision. Now, to adjust to their new lifestyle, the girls are shopping for items like an alarm clock, a calendar, a notepad, and so on. And on the other hand, Leah's nephew Yassine is also forced into a digital detox as his parents snatch all of his electronic gadgets. The next day, Audrey arrives at Leah's and Manon's residence to share two big announcements. She says that Guillaume will be attending Julian's thesis presentation with a partner. And over the weekend, Manon's mother will be visiting to attend Julian's thesis, and when she returns, she plans to take Manon back as well. A few days later, Manon's mother visits her and starts pressuring her to give up her singing career. Despite Manon's objections, she wants her daughter to stay home with her and quit music. Just then, Durko arrives at her doorstep, infuriated with her. Since Manon stopped working for him after pocketing 5,000 euros, he threatens her to return the money before sunset at any cost. Meanwhile, Leah is frustrated to learn about Guillaume's girlfriend who's attending the thesis presentation. So, intending to make him jealous, Leah decides to go to the thesis with Gagun. To glam up, she dresses up in party attire, but she ends up appearing a little foolish in front of everyone. She introduces Gagun as her boyfriend, but Guillaume is totally unaffected by it. Unlike Leah, he's moved on, and right now he's enjoying the moment with his partner. Next, Julian is presenting his thesis, but no one in the audience seems to be interested, mostly because they have no idea what he's talking about. While Leah is drowning in jealousy, Guillaume and his girlfriend are having a lovely moment. Meanwhile, Leah's father is playing games on his smartphone, and her mother is proudly making a video of Julian. On the other hand, Yassine is at school where all of his friends and classmates are busy in the world of their smartphones. So to counter this, he requests his friends to undertake digital detox for 15 days. Yassine also adds that this could be a movement against digital addiction. He gathers a group of students and begins the campaign by screaming, "We are not pigeons." Eventually, this results in a call of complaint to his parents, who are at the after party of Julian's thesis. Even during the after party, everyone in the room is glued to their smartphones. So Leah comes up with a box and asks everyone to stop using their phone. Initially, some people are hesitant, but when Guillaume's partner Méline supports the idea, everyone agrees to do so. However, Leah acts in an extremely unpredictable manner while attempting to defame Guillaume's new girlfriend. She ends up violating her own detox rules and ultimately humiliates herself in front of everyone. Manon is trying to arrange the money she owes to Durko, while the entire family is participating in a really strange party. When Leah, Yassine, and the owner of the neighborhood bar, Bernard, have to save Manon from Durko's brutal attack, the dramatic day comes to an even more chaotic conclusion. Next, Leia and Manon go to a detox program that Leia's manager recommended for the weekend. Immediately, Manon tries to leave the program, but after learning that a renowned rapper named Chaya is also there, she decides to stay. All the participants find the program's instructor, Juliet, to be extremely rigorous and annoying. She divides everyone into pairs, blindfolds them, and sends them off into the woods with a map and compass. The goal of this activity is to motivate them to interact more with their fellow members and to get to know one another on a personal level. Fortunately for Manon, she's paired with Chaya, which makes her excited. But as they start their journey through the woods, Chaya berates Manon, saying she's a disgrace to the music industry. So her appreciation for Chaya was short-lived. On the other hand, Leia is paired with a middle-aged woman named Celine, and as their interests match, they get along pretty fast. Why? Because Celine also enjoys stalking and invading the personal space of her ex-boyfriend. That night, all of them gather around and share their stories. Juliet shares how her friend crashed his truck while using his phone. So to make people aware of the dangers of digital gadgets, she started this camp. Pauline, a young YouTuber, says that she's in the camp because her mother is jealous of her followers. But Patricia tells her that she's in the camp because she's just a 3-year-old brat who's addicted to the internet. Then Juliet asks Leia to share why her partner, Celine, is in the camp. Leia tells everyone that Celine was in a relationship with her boyfriend for 11 years, and when she was 31, Celine told her boyfriend that she wanted to have a baby, and that's when he dumped her. After that, she started stalking her ex-boyfriend constantly, which resulted in many lawsuits. So, to get her life on track, Celine decided to join the camp. Next, the members are instructed to race across a field that's packed with hurdles and obstacles. As they go through the barriers, Manon is chased by people dressed up as apes, but she's soon rescued by her former hero, Chaya. As the race comes to an end, everyone passes the detox training, except for Celine and Pauline. Leia and Manon come out of the facility with a certificate of completion in their hands. Just then, Chaya approaches Manon and tells her that she has the potential to become a musician. And before leaving, Chaya gives Manon a location and tells her to meet her there if she decides to make good music. After returning from the detox camp, Leia decides to apologize to Guillaume for everything that she did and says that she's trying to be a better person. As Leia's talking to him, Méline comes and embraces him in excitement as they're now expecting a child. Next, Manon is seen singing in front of a huge audience, but it turns out that she's daydreaming as she finds herself working at Bernard's bar. But soon she receives a request from a total stranger to sing at an open mic event. Initially, Manon tries to reject the offer, saying she's quit music, but after a little persuasion, she decides to give it a try. Immediately, she starts preparing for her performance with Bernard as she's woefully unprepared. While they're at it, Manon's neighbor Carla is also at the bar. But when Manon does not recognize her, Carla tells her that every time they cross paths, Manon was always buried in her smartphone. Meanwhile, Audrey's grown tired of raising her child by herself. Since Julian does not take paternity leave from work to support her, she rambles about this with Leia. However, Leia is annoyed by her rants because she has to hear the same complaint over and over again. On the other hand, Leia's mother chooses to go out and spend the day doing whatever she wants. She's completely fed up with her husband, who's glued to his phone at all times. Roaming around the city, she enters Bernard's bar, and as soon as he sees her, Bernard falls in love with her and they start chatting. Later on, the two spend a romantic evening together drinking champagne while gazing at the city lights. That same night, Manon gets on the stage to perform, but she gets nervous after seeing her ex-manager, Durko. But since Leia is there with Gagun and Yassine, they encourage her from the crowd. With a little encouragement from her friends, Manon starts singing her song while owning the stage. While Leia is enjoying the show, Gagun gazes at her as if she's started liking her. After her performance, Manon asks the organizer if he liked it, but he declines to continue to work further because of Durko. Frustrated by this, Manon meets her friends who try to console her, but she's had enough of this. Carla arrives just at that moment, and when Manon sees her, she asks Carla to go out with her. Next, Leia and Gagun are hanging out at her house, where Gagun is giving her a foot massage. Leia tells him that if her life continues like this, she'll end up alone. But Gagun tells her that there's no way she'll end up alone because he believes that plenty of men would like to be with her. At first, Leia takes his compliment as a joke and asks him to be honest about it. And when Gagun tells her that he finds her extremely smart and beautiful, she starts hearing music and behaves in love all over again. The next morning, Manon tells Leia that she's thinking of quitting music and wants to move in with her mother. However, Leia motivates her by telling her that she's a wonderful artist and that she just needs to tell a good story with her songs. Later, Manon watches old clips of when she's singing in front of Leia. At that moment, she realizes that Leia has been there for her since the beginning and decides to give music one last try. On the other hand, Leia's mother is having a tough time going back to her reality after a wonderful night with Bernard. When she reaches her home, her husband Philippe is still playing games on his tablet. Having enough of this, she tells him that she wants them to take a break. Meanwhile, Leia and Gagun are seen spending their time drinking and chatting, as they seem to have entered a new saga in their relationship. And on the other hand, Manon finally visits Chaya's studio to work on her music with her. Next, Leia starts making arrangements to organize a lunch at her home for her mother's birthday. With the help of Gagun, she's making preparations for the birthday meal, and they are both drawn to one another. As they embrace in a hug, Gagun gets a text from a girl named Sophia asking to meet her soon, and Leia happens to read the message. After he leaves, a drunk Guillaume knocks on her door and asks Leia if he can come in. It turns out he got in a fight with his girlfriend and starts rambling about her poor choices. As they start drinking, Guillaume tells Leia that he's never loved anyone the way he loved her. One thing leads to another, and you guessed it, they end up sleeping together. When Leia wakes up the next day, she remembers that she did not prepare lunch for her mother's birthday. Hurriedly, she goes to the kitchen where the lamb is completely burnt in the oven. In a rush, she cleans up the house a little while Guillaume is still in her bedroom. She tells Manon about the Guillaume situation, and Manon promises to help her get through it. Soon enough, the entire family arrives, while the sisters try their best to organize the apartment, hiding an unconscious Guillaume in Leia's closet. During the lunch, as the family's gathered around, Audrey gets into an argument with Julian. She tells him that he never has time for her and the baby. On the other hand, Manon talks to her mother about her desire to play in Paris and continue her music career. This makes her sad, but Manon has already made up her mind. After lunch, the entire family is gathered around watching TV when suddenly Guillaume regains consciousness and emerges in front of everyone. Seeing his hands tied, everyone accuses Leia of kidnapping her ex-boyfriend and tells her that she's gone too far this time. But Leia erupts in anger and yells at them, saying Guillaume was the one who knocked on her door last night in a drunken state. Growing tired of this cycle, Leia tells him to never talk to her ever again. Now that Guillaume has offended the entire family, they start slapping him and eventually kick him out of the house. On the other hand, Yassine is impatiently waiting to get his phone back. When he checks his phone, he discovers that his social media campaign for digital detox was a big success, resulting in him gaining thousands of followers. After the party, Manon goes to Carla's apartment and knocks on the door nervously. As soon as their eyes meet, Manon leaps in for a kiss, and Carla joins in. On the other hand, Gagun arrives at Leia's apartment with a few bottles of beer in his hand. When she asks how the day went, Gagun tells her that he's had enough of dating. As they talk about their day, they see monkeys humping each other on the TV, which makes the situation a little awkward. Next, Manon misses her opportunity to publish her music because of her bad online reputation. She breaks the news to Bernard, who gives her a hug and tries to console her. But this time, Manon is determined to make it work and tells Bernard that she'll steal the show. At the store, Leia tries to act pretty and cute around Gagun and approaches him from behind. And with Leia behind him, Gagun unknowingly leaks a fart. Then she leaves the room and says to herself that this is not the right time to impress him. Leia shares the story with Manon and tells her that maybe this was a sign from the universe telling her not to ruin her friendship with Gagun. Manon tells her to just make out with him and get it over with. But Leia keeps telling her that she does not have the balls to make it happen, literally. The next day, Manon and Bernard explain how they plan on infiltrating the concert venue, and all they need now is some help from their friends and family. Julian is assigned the driver duty, and Carla will get rid of the guards at the gate. Once she does that, the gang will be inside the building. Then Gagun and Leia will cause a diversion so that Manon can get to the stage with Bernard. Lastly, Yassine has to infiltrate the crowd, and if something goes wrong, he has to make everyone think that the show is live on Instagram. Next, the team gets in the van and reaches the venue. But since there are no guards at the gate, Carla finds out an alternative route to get inside the building. As they climb down, Carla uses a blowpipe to make the guard pass out. Eventually, they all make it inside the venue, and Leia hypes Manon for her performance. When all of them are occupied with the show, Leia and Gagun start making a scene just as they planned. Using this as an opportunity, Manon approaches the rappers and asks them if she can take the mic for just 3 minutes. Chaya seems somewhat proud of her, but but the organizer disagrees with her. Just then, Yassine pulls out his phone and tells them that they're live on Instagram. And since the whole point of the show is to discover new talent, Cheya convinces the organizer to give Manon a chance. On the other hand, Leia and Gagun are thrown out of the building. But as soon as they're outside, the two finally express their true feelings and start kissing. Manon grabs the mic and starts singing. Slowly, everyone in the crowd is seen enjoying her music, and in just a few minutes, she manages to impress everyone present there. The organizer immediately walks towards Manon and asks if she wants to continue singing for their label. She gladly accepts the proposal and shares her excitement with Cheya. Then they all rush out of the building and celebrate the success by dancing and singing together. On the other hand, Leia receives a promotion at her job, and she has to leave in 3 days. And since the detox program also ends that night, they celebrate it by throwing a party at their house. After everything that's happened with Gagun, Leia struggles to tell him about her promotion in another city. But when she finally does, being the friend he's always been, Gagun tells her that everything's going to be fine with them. Finally, at midnight, Leia and Manon check their phones, which are full of notifications. Manon comes to know that her recent performance is now viral on social media because of Yassine's efforts. The next day, when everyone is at the airport to see off Leia, her mother gives her an unforeseen and terrible call. Somehow, her mother got involved with a scammer that took all of her life savings. And to fight the legal battle, she calls Leia to help her with it. This sudden news derails the entire relocating plan. Refusing to let her go alone, Manon tags along with Leia. But as they're waiting for the flight to take off, Gagun and Bernard unexpectedly decide to accompany them to help Leia's mother in her legal battle. The end.